Hi guys, it's me again, Kelechi Oliver, and today I have something to share with you. I'm going to share with you how to use TypeScript in your React project. TypeScript comes with a lot. It was originally created by Microsoft and it's used in larger projects. And knowing it's very important as a developer. So this is how we're going to do it. I will go through some slides over here, then we're going to build a project with it using TypeScript in React. I'll show you how to go about installing TypeScript and how to model your components using TypeScript. So I'll go through the slides now. Okay, TypeScript with React. That's what I have today. And what is TypeScript? TypeScript is an open source programming language developed and maintained by Microsoft. It strict syntactic supersets of JavaScript and add optional static typings to the language. TypeScript is designed for development of large projects and transpires to JavaScript. So what this is saying is that TypeScript just adds the power of types to your JavaScript. If you come from some other languages like C# and Java, those languages are strongly typed. So something like, let's say you're defining a constant, you're defining a string and you're assigning the value. That variable remains a string until it remains a string forever. So you cannot later on assign it a number or something. So that's what TypeScript is bringing to the table. It allows you to add types to whatever you're doing. Maybe be it a function, you can declare the kind of return value that this function should return, and so many more. So that's what TypeScript is basically doing, and we're going to uncover more of that as we go on with this tutorial. So TypeScript is designed to provide type support for JavaScript. All TypeScript code are further converted to JavaScript. TypeScript files uses a TS extension and TSX for those using React project. So normally you name your JavaScript.js, maybe index.js or component.js, but when it comes to TypeScript, because of the compiler needs to know which one is JavaScript and which one is TypeScript, it has an extension TS, so you'll be like index.ts. And for the ones you use in your React project, just like you do for JSXs, where you have component name.jsx, for TypeScript you make it maybe that component name.typescript. Now what happens, TypeScript is, before TypeScript codes are shipped to the end user side, it's being compiled down to a specific type ECMA version of JavaScript. So when you finish writing your TypeScript, everything gets converted back to JavaScript at the end. So TypeScript really powers more on the development part of the project. It allows for proper debugging and all that. So we get to see that. So importance of TypeScript. TypeScript provides static type checking during development. I said it already that when you're assigning types to variables, TypeScript allows for type check-ins. Like if you do some kind of wrong type declaration, like you assign a number to a string variable, it checks the type and throw errors. Now with TypeScript, bugs can be caught and fixed quickly during development. What this is saying is still the same thing that is related to having types built into your variables. So you shouldn't be the way you use some functions, the way you use some classes. Now anybody that is defining those things can put types on them and say, oh, this function must take a number, or this function should take an argument of a string. So that's where if somebody uses that function and passes in something wrong, it will error out. But when you're using your normal JavaScript, you don't see these errors. So it will just compile, and only what you notice is that the project or the app wouldn't work as expected. Now if this was in larger projects, it would be very difficult to fix because the code base is large and all that. The next thing, TypeScript provides powerful intelligence to fasten development because of some IDEs like VS Code has TypeScript built in that, where if you do something wrong, it shows you a squiggly line that, look, this variable you're assigning to this value you're assigning to this variable is actually expecting a string while you are assigning in a number. So that's one powerful ability of TypeScript. Also in React application with TypeScript, no need to define prop types. Now remember, when you're using React with the normal way of JavaScript things, when you're defining a component, you have to pass in prop types, so that when somebody is using that component, the person has to specify those particular props as you define them. So you can define a prop type, say this component takes in a person name of a string as a prop type. But when you come to using TypeScript, you don't do that like that. I will show you how to do it. We'll go into that, but you don't have to start passing in prop types and all that. Automatically done. So TypeScript can be compiled to different ECMAScript version. That's a good one. So maybe you're building for a browser that has a backward support, like a browser that uses ES5 or something. You could compile your TypeScript to any version of ECMAScript straightforward, without having to use something like Babel or something. TypeScript just gives you that feature. Now the next thing, TypeScript fastens development of large projects. When there are less bugs to fix and there is type checking for the project, you see that development will be faster in the long run, like for larger projects, because errors, you won't be getting bug issues as often as using the normal JavaScript. So that's one thing to look out for. So where TypeScript really shines is mostly for large projects, and so it just depends on the team. If the team finds it useful to use TypeScript in their project and the development workflow, it's a win-win. So this is the final slide. After here, we'll go on to writing the code. So these are some basic steps to add TypeScript to your React project. So to add TypeScript to your React application, so basically we're going to be using create React app, but I think if you're using a custom bundler, if you're using a custom boilerplate, then you could still see a way to add TypeScript, because TypeScript stands on its own. TypeScript could be used in any project, be it React, Node project, any project related to JavaScript, you could use TypeScript. So because TypeScript is actually JavaScript with type, just a superset of it. So follow the instruction, the steps below. You can find the docs here. I will show you the docs. So if you're using it in a fresh project, you can use npx, open your terminal and run the following command: npx create react app my app, and you specify a template argument here and you specify TypeScript. Just doing this, create react app automatically generates a boilerplate code that uses the React project that uses TypeScript. Now you then open your project with VS Code, and you can start your project here. For existing projects, you can look at the documentation provided on the slides here. So that's just how easy it is to add TypeScript to your React project. But the thing now is using the TypeScript, modeling your components to have types on them. So I will go through a demo project. Doing that, we're going to be creating the Crash Tracker app. Is a simple application that allows IT persons manage crash reports on their systems, like servers, what went down and all that. So I'll stop the slides here. I'm going to be doing some copying and pasting so that this video wouldn't be that long. And okay, so this is TypeScript documentation. You can come here, you can read through, provided you know some little bit of JavaScript. You can see how things are being done. You can go through the docs here and there are tutorials here that will help you. If you're having issues, the community is huge. So this is another link to create React app, where they show you how to add TypeScript to a React project. So this is that command I told you that you could use: create React app, the name of the app, then you specify a template that you want to use TypeScript. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So I'm using npm, so I can make use of npx. If you by default, if you have Node installed in your computer, you should be able to do this. And this is what we'll be building. I'll show you the app here. It's a very simple app. I try to make it simple so I can just make the idea of TypeScript clear. So it's just an app where you can send crash reports. I would say server 1 RAM failure. Start. Okay, I'll provide some description. Server 1 room 20 fails to put on on. I will specify moderate severity rate, high. How severe is it? I'll add that. So now, this is just a demo. So, but an engineer that can look at it and say, okay, on it, can add tags, can specify, okay, like fixed, and can specify the status of that stuff. Can also add more. Let's just do a demo here. Like, okay, hard drive, AD, first spin, server 2 on room 3, ADG fails to boot OS, and others. After add, see different severity levels. This one is low. I can also edit this one, like fix, and add that. I can also delete, like if I want to delete this one and delete that one. So that's the basic project we're going to be building with TypeScript. Okay, so I'll close yours up. I will start adding TypeScript now. I'll start a new project. I'll kill this server. Next, change directory. Okay, I'll create the app. So using the command here, paste this here. You can just copy this, or I just type it, npx create react app. Give it a name. I'll give crash. I'll just give crash reports because I already have something similar in this folder. Okay, so I'll specify a template, dash template, TypeScript. Okay, so I'll run the install here. This might take some time. I'll just pause the video while this completes. Okay, so I'm done installing all the dependencies. Create React app, did that. So right now you can see the installation from the command from the terminal here. Okay, so install different dependencies, some optional dependencies, types, install TypeScript itself, and there you go, installation done. So I will change directory into the project proper. I named it crash reports. Okay, I'm in the directory now. I can do npm start. Okay, this should start up the development server for React. Okay, all right. Take some time. initial view that it's because it's compiling the JavaScript, so you know longer depending on how you know. Okay, on 40,000. So this is when you start up a new React project using the create React app boilerplate, and so we'll go over to the code in order to build the project. I'll just open up the code using my Visual Code Editor. Script target 5, some library extension, some customization for TypeScript this to suit your needs. Okay. The next thing is we'll go into the main folder where you have all the boilerplates codes, the demo components and all that. We'll refactor it a bit, we'll clear out some things now. In this tutorial also I'll be using Sass. I'm not going to be doing too much on Sass, but just to make it things more organized, I enjoy using Sass. So to use Sass in React, you could just get that by using npm install node Sass. Yeah, node Sass. So while that is running, I'll just go through the boilerplate code and delete some things, update some things. I'll come into index. Description here too. Like the logo. The imports. styles. If you can set up. Right now. The way TypeScripting is like string. Sorry, you give it and is equal to 23, and there's nothing wrong here, though this is erroring because I'm using it inside it, a JavaScript, a TypeScript file, but I'll just create a JavaScript file just for demo purposes. I'll say test. I'll still relate this.js. I wanted to show you something. Okay, so I'll copy this code here and I'll paste it here. You see that no error from the JavaScript side. You can see that I can define a value and assign it a string, and later on assign it a number. This could throw issues in large code bases where something is expecting a string and is getting a number. So how do we do this to add types to these things in TypeScript? In TypeScript now, me defining this now with TypeScript, when I do let person name equal to, let's say I give it a string, some string value, it automatically gives this type a type of string by default. I can also I can also tell TypeScript that look, this type is a type of a particular type. So this way it's not usually good because it's not, it's inferred by whatever you assign it to. If I assigned it to a number like 23, this variable now is now of type number. If you look at the IntelliSense here, you can see person number. I can also tell it that what I want the type to be by putting a colon here and saying the type I want, maybe it's a string. Now you can see that this is erroring because I told TypeScript that look, this variable takes a type of string and I'm assigning a number. So until I assign a string here. So those are the basic things about TypeScript. Just you adding types to your JavaScript. The same thing, you can still have age. I can say is a type of number. I can assign it a value like 1. I can say old, the type of boolean. I can assign it like true or false. I can say let's get age is a type of function, because function is a type too. Function, and I should assign it a function. If I try to assign it something other than a function, it will error. So I need to assign it to a function. So that's what is going on with TypeScript. You're just adding types to your variables declared. Okay. So those were the basic things I wanted to show you. Any other thing you might think of? Also, you can specify return values. Like this function, what kind of arguments should it take? Let's say I need this function to take something. I need it to take name and age. You see, it's erroring because TypeScript doesn't know what type. If somebody wants to use this function, name, is it a type of string or is it a number? So I can do that by adding a colon here, saying string. See, now TypeScript knows that I'm letting TypeScript knows that whosoever is using this function is going to pass in a string and an age which is of type number. And also I can specify, so if somebody tries to use this function now, like get age, I'm passing something other than that, like 24 to the first argument and passing, let's say, some other thing. Okay, I expected this to error. Okay, this is supposed to error. Okay, it's not erroring, but when you're using this function, it's expected that you pass in a string. It's supposed to show it, well, I wonder why it's not doing that. But it's supposed to, if you pass in something that is not a string, when using the variable, you see squiggly lines. You can also specify return types, and like, I'm not really teaching Java and TypeScript here. I wanted to only show you how to use it in React, but I just needed to make some certain concepts clear. You can also specify what a function should return. Okay, so this function should return a number. So if I hover over here, it says this function is not returning what it's supposed to return. So I can come here and put in return 1. You see that that's fixed. So that's the idea behind TypeScript. We're going to be looking at something like this more on using it with React. So okay, let's come back to the React land. So I have everything set up. Now I would like to be using arrow functions for my components. I don't like that type, so I'll use arrow function. Okay, so that's done. Now this React component looks just like the TypeScript version. Sorry, just like the normal JavaScript way of doing things. There are no types on it. So the best thing, because I'm using TypeScript, I should ensure that my functions, my components are all built with using TypeScript. Like I should add types to them, so that when somebody is using this function, like this thing, it's indicate that this is not an ordinary function. This is actually a component. That's when we'll come into adding the React types to it. So for me to do that now, I will have to import some things from React, and then I'll add that to tell TypeScript that this is a React component and all that. The first one I'll add is FC, specifying that this is a functional component. The next thing is React elements. This is the return value. I'll tell TypeScript that look, this function returns a React element. come over here. Okay, I'll pass the argument over here, fc. So this is a functional component. So what does it return? It returns a React element. So this is how you can, tell TypeScript that this is a functional component from React, and also this component, like this function, returns a React element. If you come here now and you return something other than that, like you return 3, you see it errors out that type 3 is not assignable to blah blah blah, to assignable to a type React element. So you must return something like you must return a JSX. You can come here until I return something like a div and say h1 hello from React and all that, and then passing the class name, my normal JSX of app. Okay, so that's just the basic thing. So furthermore, we're going to be looking at how to add types to this thing, how to add specified props that this component will take. I'll do that later on, but for now let's just structure the application the way the way it should be. We'll have some components. We'll have create folders for these components. I have the button component. I'll have the header card. Item card. Item card, section divider. Okay, and tags. Each is a single component having some files inside. Here I have my button.css because I'm using TypeScript. Then I'll specify the button styles. This is the way I structure my projects in React. I'll say button.styles.css. I told you we're using Sass. I'll do that for other components. Header card .csx. Specify the styles. Header.styles .scss. The next thing, item card .tsx. I'm going to do some copy and pasting here to make things fast. I don't want this video to be that long. Section .csx. Tags. Okay. .tsx and tag.stars.scss and I'm going to just copy these things and rename them so that the way I define the components, I will just copy it over the file so that things becomes faster. Just place it there. This is button and button just change the style imports to the styles I have in this current directory. Button the style.scss, I hope that's correct. Button the styles. Oh, good. Alright. I have that done. Go over to the header card. Have that, and call this header card. So you can also go to the repository, and if you're trying to follow along, and change the imports here to header the styles. That's what I name it. .scss. Let me confirm. Okay, so next I'll go over to the item card. This is just the basic project setup, and item card. And then all the styles. Item card. Okay, the next thing is the section divider. Section divider. What are those stars? I'll name it section divider. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, tags. And I import the styles. I have tag.styles.scss. Tag. The tag components. Okay, we're done. I think so. Save these components, and then okay, so I think we're done here. Now let's go to the app.js. These components are like the button is the button you saw in the demo project, the header card, the item you saw at the top. I'll show it to you. Then the item card are those items, list of reports that are sent. The section divider will get to see it. So I'm just trying to be like quick here, so I don't take too much time. I'll just change the styles, get the right one. Okay, so I'm using fonts from Google Fonts here, the Molly font, and I'm styling the app. So this is just some basic Sass. So inside app, I'm styling any container that is inside. So when I structure the app.css component, I will add a container inside. So I'm just giving it a width of 600 pixels, display flex, and some columns and overflow hidden. So flex direction columns, so that everything gets stacked up vertically. So I just some styles. And I'll go to the app.css and ensure I'm importing that style. I'm importing it down here, and I'll change it because of the class. I'll change it to app. From the styles I styled, what I pointing to is the class name of app. And let me see what here. Okay, let me see, server is still running, everything works. Okay, all right. So first I will start doing the components. I'll start with the components. I'll start with the header, the button component. So I'll be pasting in styles so that I don't get to waste time on typing. So this is the button. We're having using the HTML button tag, specifying a class name down here, specifying some class style, some styles, down here. So this component expects some arguments, some props being passed to it. So how do you specify props in TypeScript? If I come here and I do the normal way of the structuring props, like getting maybe as I specified here, I need a style class. If somebody should provide a style class, if you're using this component, if I do that here, it will fail. I'm wondering why. Okay, so you're having this squiggle lines that it doesn't exist on type children reacts node. So how do you pass in props? How do you pass in props? So that's what I'll show you next. So you can pass props using interfaces or specifying type. So interfaces and types are just ways of specifying types in TypeScript. So we can have an interface here, and we'll give it a name. Most times, if I'm having an interface of a particular component, I'll give it an I followed by the name of that component. So this is an interface for the button. It specifies the types, the things that the button should have when somebody is using the button component. So number one, I want to have a title. So somebody will pass a title for the button, and I will specify the type. What type is it? This title, what type is it? I'll specify string. The next thing I want to have is onClick. So onClick handler is a function. So somebody using this component should pass a function. OnClick handler, and specify the type is a function. The next thing is style class. The string. The next is icon name. If someone wants to add an icon to this button, it's a string. Now, sometimes you're passing props and those props are optional. You can tell TypeScript that these things are optional by adding a question mark here. When you do that, TypeScript, if somebody is using this component without passing these things, TypeScript will ignore, it won't error out. So it say, okay, it's optional. It's something you can either choose to pass to it or not pass to it. So you just add a question mark here. Now, how do you let this component be aware of these types? You just come in here where you have the FC decorator and you add I button. So when you do that I button now, you can then come here, you see the squiggle line is off, and you can pass in the props you want directly. You can specify the props you want. Like, you can see the IntelliSense even coming up for me that I need a title, onClick handler, style class. Okay, I already have style class and icon name. So these things now, okay, I think I misspelled onClick handler. OnClick handler. Let me see. Did I get it wrong? Okay, I think so. I think I got it wrongly. Oh, okay. So that is it. Next thing, why is this one erroring? Okay. Click event, mouse event. Okay, I think this is disturbing because of I needed to add something to the TS config. I think so. Let me see if that fixes it. Why is this error? Type mouse event n is not assignable to a type event. Type event and event are incompatible. It's missing the following properties for offset and 30 more expected types. Well, I never got this. Okay, what could be wrong here? Okay, let's just move the mouse event and add any for now. So a type of any is when you specify type of any, TypeScript wouldn't check the type of the argument passed in. It's just any argument that is any type of argument that this this is a handler function. So I just using it for now. I'm going to try to fix it to find out why that one was not working, but it still work for our own use case. So when I specify any on the argument here, I'm saying that okay, this function, this is an anonymous function. So if somebody clicks it, it's going to pass in anything that's any argument that is being passed into that function. So I'm not specifying, I'm not saying this argument should be a string or it should be a number, just any argument will work. Okay, the next thing is okay, we're done with the button here for now. So let's do the header card. Okay, before the header card, let's do the section divider component. And this is just what it looks like. No more thing going on here. So it needs a report length. You can always check TypeScript documentation or check Stack Overflow whenever you're having issues with TypeScript. It's about you googling and finding out what could be wrong. And report length. I'm specifying the types that this component takes. It's a number, so that component is just rendering the number of reports that have been made. Reports divider. Okay, we're done with this component, and let's get the styles. Okay, styles are here, and styles are there. So let's check that we're importing them correctly. I think so. It should work. Alright, we'll miss the button styles. Let's get the button styles. button styles. Just going to paste it. It's a basic CSS. I'm defining the button color, the padding, the font sizes, and all that. Okay. Next, I think we're done with the button. We're just going to do the header card, and I'm just rushing through because of time. Alright, and there's more code here. So for the header card, we need an interface to define the types, the props that this component should take, and it takes our update report, which is a function that should be passed in whenever using this component, and then I'll specify that here on the components that I need an I header card. So then it takes some other utility functions inside the class, inside the component, which I have here. One is to, where is this coming from? Oh, I remember now. Sorry, I need to get it from React, the change event. I need to get the use state. I'm using a use state hook here. Use state hook, which other thing? Okay, I think that's it. So I need to pass in my props, I header, update reports. I get IntelliSense here. I think I need form events. Oh yeah, I need form events from React. These are just React stuff there. So sometimes while doing this I had this issue with TypeScript, where I'll pass in I'll pass in what I want as argument the normal JavaScript way. I'll get the error. I'll look through Stack Overflow on how to fix that error, like getting these event handlers and all that. So those are things that while using something like this, you always check the documentation for your way to do it. So I'm done with the utility function for this component. The next thing is because this header component, it's a form that where I put in where you can submit the reports. Okay, so I have a form and some of the usuals. Okay, right. I'll just put in the CSS here. Okay, so I'm having some methods. I have handle on change. So whenever the form input is changed, I get the values and then I update the state with the form input here. I have another one. When the form is submitted, I will prevent the default action so that the page will not reload. I will check, do a little type. I will check to make sure that there is a title and a description. Then I'll fire up the update report. Now the update report will update the parent component that look, a new report has been made, so that the list can work. Next, I will then reset the form to the default value. Okay, so I need to import the button I declared before. So import button from, we'll go up out of this current directory, inside the button directory, and we'll get the button. Okay, so what's going on? I'm getting something is not complete. Okay, so I need to get this, something like this. Alright, I think it's not well linted. Okay, so it's well linted now. So I have the button that you click to enter a report. I'll show you this. Then once you click on this button, it will then show the form. It will update the show form state to true. It will then show the form where you can enter the input, and once you enter the input, you can submit here. You click on the submit button and it gets filled out. So that's just it for this component. You can go through the code, and while following along, you can go through the code and copy them yourself. After that, let's update this button to look the way it should be. Why that error was coming was because I didn't import mouse events from React, so that's why I just forgot. So it's meant to look like this. So we got this error that on click is not, so we're meant to import mouse events from React. So I think that should fix that. Now it works. Let's just import this component to app and see what it looks like. So that we'll see what we've done so far. I'll get the code. Import. Let's get everything. Okay, those are our components. Now I will just, okay, so I can have a div around here with a class of container, which is the containing, of course. Okay, I'll then have my header card, which is what's sitting on top. And if I close this header card, you can see the error, like, because this header card, now when I defined it, I said it should take a prop of update reports, which is a function. So if I don't specify that, you see TypeScript is giving me this, this squiggle lines telling me that there's something wrong with my import. So this makes development easy, because you get to know that this thing is not wrong, it is wrong, and you get to fix it even before using it, before it compiles. You see this before it compiles. So if I pass in something other than what it should take, like a string, it's still erroring. So I need to pass in a function. For now, I'll just pass in an anonymous function. Okay, so you see the error goes out. I'll save. Let's check to make sure that something is going on. Just refresh. Okay, so this is it. I think the styles are not applying properly. Let me check. Something is wrong with the styles. Okay, header card. Did I import? Did I add the styles? Okay, no styles yet. Let me get the styles. I'll just get the styles here and paste it. And okay, so we have our styles now. So when you open up the button, when you click, this is the button I told you to show down hide the form. This is where you put in the input, and this is where you specify the severity rate, and you add it up here to send the update event. That's it for the card. Then next we need our let's go back to app tiers and let's import section divider so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, we need the section divider, section divider. So also this takes in a props. Okay, I think this takes in a props. You could see the red squiggly lines. It's missing a prop type. Okay, so I'll just I can pass in what is the prop type. I can hit Control and spacebar to see, and scroll up. I can see it needs a report length. I don't know if I can just pass a number. Should I pass a number? Okay, yeah, I think that works. We'll save that. Go back to the app. Okay, cannot resolve. I think I made a mistake in the import. Go back, section divider. Check that I imported correctly. Okay, I think I missed the import, and I'll just copy the name here and go back to the styles, rename it, highlight, rename, and paste, right? Styles, right? Okay, so I have that renamed. Go back to section, styles, divider, section divider. I think this should work now. Let me refresh. Oh, I'm still making a mistake. Cannot resolve styles. I'm still making a mistake here. Section divider. Oh, sorry. I meant to add a slash. Reload this. Okay, so it works now. So this is the section divider. It's if you pass in the report length, and that's the number that will get shown here. Let me just show you the HTML real quick. So you see I'm just adding using templates literal template strings with the backticks to add reports here, and I'll pass any report length that was passed in. I'll just render that. So that's it. I think we're done with this component. Now the next thing, let's go back to the app.ts component and we'll do some things. So now the next thing is our item container. That's where we're going to be doing most of the items that are being added, which are the reports. I'm going to just come down here, take some things. Okay. So there's also, apart from using interfaces, you could use type to define type of a particular variable or something like an object or something. Here I'm having a report type. So if I want to have an object that should use this type, I can say const report is equal to, I'll tell it that look, it's a report type. So this is my own custom type. It's not like string or or numbers. So for me to use this report type now, I must pass in the required things like title. You can see the IntelliSense telling me that I need a title, which is a string. I need some other things like a description. Everything that was declared here, that's what I'll pass in. Some of them though are optional. So that's just it for this. You can use types in TypeScript to also declare the keyword type, to declare a type, a custom type you make, just like interfaces. So I have a report type because I'm using it in this component. So I'm also going to be needing use effect, so that I want to create side effect, use effects, and use states to manage local states. The next thing, okay, I think that's done. So I'll add in the methods here, so I don't want to type too much. Right here. So I'm creating declaring using use state here. Now I'm saying that this, I'm passing in a type to use state, specifying that it should take a report type. So whatever is going to be passed to this array should be of this type, should be of this shape. So if somebody tries to set use state using something other than this, it's going to error out. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm also going to be having some effect, use effect. So now this effect is mimicking component did mount. If you've used class component, it's going to run once the whenever the component is mounted to the DOM, this effect will run. Now what's happening is I'm saving those reports to local storage. You could, if you're building for any other kind of application, you're maybe saving it, sending it to an API or a GraphQL query, whatever. So I'm just going to, when the component is mounted, I'm just going to check the local storage if there are already results existing. Then I'll update the array here with the saved reports. The next thing is I have a function update reports. That's the function that will run whenever those input forms are submitted. So when somebody completes the input and send the submit, this I'll pass in this function to the item header, so that I will just pass it here now. Update reports, so that it runs and update report. So what does it do? I use this to generate a unique ID, just a random number for the report, so that whenever you're going through several items in an array, it's good to give them an ID. Then I set the first tag to the severity that was specified in the object that is passed. Then I create a new array. Now I don't want to mutate the existing array. I'll just create a new array by spreading the new item that was added and then spreading the existing items that are on the that is in our local state here. So this way I'll create a new array from the existing items without updating it directly. So this is the best way when you're working with arrays objects. It's good you always try to create new ones rather than trying to update the existing ones directly. So then I also ensure I save it back on local storage by setting item reports. Then I stringify it to JSON, and then I set reports to the new reports that I got here that I've already created. So this will update my local state of the new report, and any other child component that is looking at this report local state will get updated as well. The next thing is our delete method, which deletes the report. So the delete method takes in the report ID, and now we'll generate a new update by filtering through the existing reports on the reports here that we have here. We'll get an update. Then now what this does is any report that has this ID that was passed in, it will remove it and it will only return the ones that doesn't have the ID. Then I set update my local storage with the updates that was made. Then I set the report back to the filtered array that is being received. So reports.filter is an array method that filters through an items in an array, and based on the function that is passed in here, it will either decide if this item is allowed in the new array that is being passed here or not. So I'm saying that check the report ID. If it's equal to the report ID that was passed in, then it shouldn't be allowed, while the rest should be allowed. That's what the delete function is doing. We also have the add tag function. Somebody could add a tag like on the report that was made, like fixed or not fixed, something like that. So this takes in the report ID that the tag was clicked on, the tag itself, which is a string. So with that, now I'm going to go loop through. I'm looping using map here, which is an array method also, to loop through all the items in the array, okay, in the report array that you have here. So when I loop through these items, I'll check if the report ID is equal to the report ID that was passed in. if it is equal to it, then I'll just destructure all the tags and add in the new tag to it. Okay, then I will return the report. So it will, this loop will, while the map is going through all the items in the array, it will just update, check if the one that's the ID matches it, to update it and then return it. So I'll get a new array here. I'll then update the local storage of the new array. Then I'll set the new report that is being modified, so which is going to still update this one back. These are just the normal React stuff. Then I will just loop through. So now to display the item card, I will loop through our existing item. I'll loop through the item array that is where we're saving these things here. Where we're saving the report, I'll loop through them and I will display the item card based on the number of items that are there. Okay, I'll come here, I'll create a div. Okay, so I'll loop through. So I'm opening up braces to write JavaScript, TypeScript in this case. I'll loop through the report dot maps takes in a function, passing the function here, and I will return a JSSX. In this case, I'll just get this from here. Get this from here. Okay, so this is erroring out now right now because I've not specified that these props will be needed in this component. We've not worked on item card, so I'll just remove it for now and think we're good to go. So we'll come back to this. For now, let's just be like this. So we're going to pass in these methods like as props. Okay, I think let's go over to the item card component. Item card of JSS. Okay, so we'll need a lot here. We're getting some types, still the same report types down here. Not too much typing. Okay, so the usual report type I told you of. I'm creating a type here again, report. So sometimes some larger projects, they will get all these types into a particular file and import them so that you can reuse this custom type. I'm also creating an interface for the card. I'll just rename this to item card because that's the name of the component now. Item card. And I'll pass it item card. Item card. So I'll say okay, item card takes in a prop. You have the report. You have the add tag, which is a function. You have the delete report, which is a function too. So now we need some use states to control the card, like if the edit tag, if the add tag button was clicked on. We also need to import some other things. We need to import our button because we'll be using it up one level into the button folder. We'll get the button. We also need our tag. I think we've not worked on tag. Tag component. Okay, so what else do we need? We need to get use state. I think that's it. The next thing, we'll add our method, some methods for the class function for the component, like the handle add tag, which should run once the person clicks on the add tag button. So here I'm just being explicit like this function, this variable, is expected to be assigned to a function, which is what I've done here. Okay, so what I have done is I'll look if the input is empty. If it's equal to nothing, then I'll just return. Like that is, I'll just close. Okay, I think I'll be able to explain this when I am done. Then I'll paste in some code. Some codes here. Okay, so I'll go through the code now. So this is title. Where do I need title from? Okay, so this is erroring because we've not done the tag component, but we'll get to that. Let's just leave it. So I'm having a div here, having the item card, class name. This is just the usual thing. So I'm looking at the severity, and I'm adding a class to it. If the severity is high, if it's low, I already have a class on the CSS that, okay, we've not added CSS yet. I have a class on the CSS that will style this if the severity is high, low, or So I'm also having a div here that holds the cards. Each card, I'm looping through all the cards that are in the reports, and I'm going to display a card component. And I'm having a button here. This, I think, is the add. This should be the add tag button that once you click on it, the add tag input will show up where you can create input, and once you click on it, it will either close the input or it will add it to the items of existing tags. Now, how do I do that? I check if the input is empty, I'll just return, changing the show tag input to false, or changing it to the opposite way, which should be false, so that I'll hide the input. Then if it's not empty, then I'll fire up the add tag function, which is being passed into this component, and I'll pass in the report ID, then the tag input that was made, and I'll clear up the input. Then I'll also hide the input. Further, I have the button. Okay, that's it. Then I have the card body, which is displaying the title, and a delete button here. So the delete button will just fire up the delete report, which is also a functional prop that is being passed in. Now it will just return passing the report ID, so that on the parent component, the parent will loop through and find the report with that particular ID and delete it. So to make this work, let's get our tag component working. We'll go over to our tag component. I'll just get the code down here to make things easy. Okay. Get some JSS, some HTML. Okay, so style class, I need to add in the I button to pass in the style class props. I think we're done with that. Okay, the title, I also need the title. Okay, I think we're done. We need to add our styles. I'll just come over here and get the styles from the clipboard. I'll paste it some simple CSS. I'm giving it a background. I'm giving it some border radius of 6 pixels, margin right, and I'm styling the text inside to take the font family of Muli, and so that's just a basic tag there. So I'm using all the properties that is expected when declaring a component in TypeScript, specifying the return type, giving an interface that specifies the props that should be passed into this component. Now I can go back to item card, and I think that error is gone. Yeah, it works now because I've specified that these props are required. Now you're seeing the power of TypeScript working. So is there any error? No. Okay, so we're cool here. Let me get the styles. this is style. So the style is quite long. So here I'm looking at if, now what happens, this is a syntax for Sass. So if this class name is the same, like if somebody, this is the same target as when you have your normal CSS where you have item card, and somebody puts having a class, still a class of, let's say, hi. So this is still as the same thing as adding and here and specifying another class. Okay, so this is still the same thing as this. That's they are both the same selector. So I'm selecting the item that has item card and also an class of hi. So I have high, moderate. If the card severity is moderate, style it with this yellowish blue. The other one, if it's low, style it with blue. Then the item card header, I'm displaying flags. I'm also displaying the tags flags. These are just normal CSS. I like Sass a lot because it makes the component hierarchy, like it's allows you to add styles more structured, in a structural way that can prevent style conflict. Okay, I'm importing the item card styles to make sure. Okay, so I think we're having errors in app.js because we use the tag and we've not passed in the props. We used an item card and we've not passed in the props. And then I'll just pass in the props directly. Reports, where is reports? Okay, so we need reports here. And report should be a type of report type. Okay, I think we're set to there. So let's see what's our app is looking like. Can't resolve stack styles. We're having issues with that. Oh, sorry. Oh, I named it. Sorry, I named it wrongly. So let's go back to tag CSS. I named it wrongly here. Let's see if it works now. Okay, we get our app working. So this one is having a fixed value of 2. I think I forgot to update it. Let's go to the app txs and I will give it the, what should I give it? I will give it the reports.length, which is reports.length. So which is the current length of reports. Let's check back. I think it should be 0 now. Okay, 0. So let's check if the app is working as expected. So this is the header, this is the section divider, and below, if there are any reports, it should be added here. So we can come here, add reports. This is just toggling show and hide the form inputs, and I can specify a report like hard drive, bad hard drive. And I can give a description like server 2 computer has server 2 computer room 3 has HD failure, and then I'll specify severity. I will say high, now add. Okay, so it's added. I think something is going wrong here. Is that something? Let me see. I think my icons are not loading up. Is it internet? I think it has to do with my internet. Okay, let me add tags. Okay, okay, the tags are there. Okay, my icons are not coming. I think okay, I need to import the icons. I'm using font awesome icon, so I need to add that to the HTML. To do that, I'll use the CDN links for that. Go over to the public inside index. I'll get the CDN link, public. Okay, this is the link and I'll paste it here. Okay, so I think that should fix it. Okay, I have my icons now. So this is the way the app works in general. You just add reports here. It's just a demo, a demo application. You could extend this to maybe reporting to a database or having users log on, just to show you how. Then I will say, okay, bad internet cable. Computer responding to network request. I specify severity, I say moderate or add. So the idea is when you add, maybe an engineer that is working on your team could come, like on the IT department could come and say on it, could add a status like on it, and could also come and add a status like fixed, and a space, and could also come and add another one like working, or something like resolved. So that's just the basic working of this thing. You could also delete it, and anytime I delete it, updates this section divider of the number of reports that are there. So I think that's pretty much everything I have here. And so that's it. You can find the attached to this video, you'll find the links to everything you need, like the repository where you have the code and everything. You can go through this on your own to familiarize yourself with using TypeScript in React, and I feel it's something good. You should try doing it because you don't know the project you're on board on and if they will require you to use TypeScript. So guys, that's it for this project. Thank you.